Hi, everyone. Hi, Street Cat. You've arrived, yes. Hello, hello. Welcome to Soothing Sundays. On Soothing Sundays, I live stream twice a week, and on Sundays, it's called Soothing Sundays, and we're regulating the nervous system to have an amazing week, answering questions related to mental health, relationships, anything that will recalibrate you to have the best week is what I'm here to help you do. So I'm gonna take a sip of water and then get into the technique of the week for you guys to implement. So the technique, the neurological reprogramming tool technique for the week is called cognitive restructuring. Hi, Bob. Happy birthday, Bob. Hope you had a good birthday. How'd it go? And thank you for being here. So the tool, the neurological reprogramming technique for this week is called cognitive restructuring. So with cognitive restructuring, and I was thinking about this because I was just on TikTok, I think it was, and someone was talking about the Bible quote from Romans, like, be transformed by the renewal of your mind, which I love. I think the Bible has a lot to say about like psychology, actually, and I don't think it's like meant to be literal. That's my opinion. But anyway, like Neville Goddard says, the Bible is a psychological drama in a way that's teaching you about your mind and how to use it to literally get whatever you want in life. So, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, or when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So I want you to take something in your life that's been a pervasive pattern that you might have been like, oh, it's always been this way, or I can't, like, you feel maybe even defeated about, but you do want to change. You want, like, in an ideal world, that pattern, that thing, and it could be in your health, wealth, relationships, career, your spirituality, connection with source, God, whatever you call it. Think about it. Think about one thing, and I don't care if it's been going on your whole life. It can change in an instant. Literally, whatever you want can change in an instant, even if it's been that way the whole time. The clients that I have that really just decide that that's the truth and that they're going to go with it are the ones that have the fastest and greatest progress in my private practice. So if you can just start from that basis, and that is what cognitive restructuring is about, this technique I'm going to show you about, that's the basis of cognitive restructuring, is literally you're going to decide in this moment right now, doesn't matter how long the pattern's been there, you're going to decide that your mind is powerful enough to change it like that, because it can. And this is a CBT, a cognitive behavioral technique. So with cognitive restructuring, we have to, whatever the old belief is, find the pattern that it is. Like, oh, there's never enough money. Okay, or let's just take that. And then what is the belief behind it? That money is hard to come by, that my services aren't valuable, that whatever it is, I want you to, and it could be more than one old belief that you've had, but I really want you to be as freaking real with yourself as possible. And so again, you're going to list the pattern, whatever it is, and then all the beliefs attached to it. If all your relationships are shitty and end in drama and you're always attracting a narcissist or whatever, then list all of things. Do I think love has to involve suffering? Do I get bored if it's not drama ridden? Like, really get as real as possible, because the more real you get with yourself, the better the outcome will be. So you're going to list all the old beliefs. Okay. And then I have people do it where it's all the old beliefs are in one column and then the new beliefs are in a different column, or you can just turn the page. I prefer if you wrote this down. So you could write it in your phone or on paper. I think you get better results with paper, because when you write something by hand, you create new neural pathways faster. So for each old belief, I want you to write literally the opposite of that, and that is your new belief. So if the old belief is, I never have any money, the new belief is, I'm inherently worthy and money is easy. It's just always, without me even doing anything, just by me being me, it shows up in my bank account. Things like that. And again. So money is easy to come by. Money shows up for me in expected and unexpected ways constantly, all the time, just for existing, just for being me. I always have loving, supportive relationships, friendships, coworkers, romantic relationship, it's always so loving and supportive and peaceful, and I like that, and I thrive in those situations. So again, take all the old beliefs from the pattern that you have, be as real with yourself as possible, and then list all of the new beliefs. And literally, you're just writing the opposite of that. And if you need help with your old beliefs, like ask your friends that you have that can really be real with you and be like, what do you think I'm unconsciously thinking about myself? Or do you see patterns in me that I maybe am not worthy of? And if you have good friends and you're open to the feedback, they might be like, yeah, you don't own your worth, or you maybe like drama a little bit, whatever it is, but be open to that feedback because it will lead to the result that you want so much faster. So that is called cognitive restructuring, and it works very well. And if you're just hopping on right now, go back and watch the cognitive restructuring. And I want you to implement that throughout this week, and it will really shift your life. It will shift that pattern out. And I mean, I'm telling you guys, it can change so quickly. I promise you that. I promise you. It was wonderful. Thank you. Okay, good. Glad you had a good birthday. Glad you finally caught. Yes, happy to have you here. Welcome. Yes, welcome Street Cat, and welcome everyone else. If you have any questions related to mental health, relationships, toxic relationships, I specialize in personality disorders and helping people heal from toxic relationships with someone that had, if you were in a relationship with someone that had a personality disorder. And it doesn't even have to be a romantic relationship. It could also be parents and co-workers. It's all a common dynamic if we have these people in our life. And again, if you are in a toxic relationship currently and you're trying to separate from it, or you have, and you're in that thing where it's like, oh, should I loop back? They're trying to pull me back in. Or you're just in a pattern where you attract the same thing. It's totally fine. No judgment, but it can be the start to the most amazing era of your life. If you can heal from that and understand why I attracted those patterns. What's up? Like, why was my worthiness, my self-concept, am I recreating a trauma from the past, from childhood? So it's totally worth looking into, but just know, because sometimes we get so down on ourselves and really judgmental about it, and there's like a lot of shame around it. Don't be ashamed. Just know that it's showing you, just like anything that's showing up in your life, it's showing you like, oh, here's an opportunity to know yourself a little bit better, or know your worth, or know that you're capable of having the money you want, having the love that you want, having the relationship with source, God, whatever you call it. You're actually, that's all waiting for you. So is there, I'm there at the why part. What do you mean, Street Cat? I'm there at the why part. Elaborate. And so I think I was talking about, I need to make a post about this, but especially on Instagram, the post I made about like the DL narcissist guys, some of the stuff, like dating a DL narcissist man, some of the comments are so wild. Like, people are really opening up about their experiences and how some of these men are like, married, whatever, and they're, hooking up with, people of the same sex that are like sex workers and all this stuff. And there's a big theme of that. These DL narcissist men like hooking up with tranny like sex workers and all that stuff. And that, I don't have any judgment about that in particular. I have judgment about like the deceit and lying to someone, and like really, because they're the most homophobic people typically. And so just all the hate, and then the way that they relate to women and hate women and all of that stuff. So I just get, especially on Instagram, I get so many questions and stories about it. So I just want to acknowledge that and know that you're not alone. But what I don't want you to do is be in this like hater mode, like fuck these, blah, 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 because what you resist and what you give the most energy to persists. So if you're like, I fucking hate this, like again, like the wizard Liz, she's like in victim mode and she's like, yeah, my baby daddy's a DL, narcissist, blah, 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 and they're demonic and all that stuff. What are you doing? You're just going to attract more of the same thing. And she calls herself like a manifestation expert. And it's like, yeah, you have unhealed daddy trauma and you haven't healed it. So you're just replaying it again. And then by talking all this shit about your baby daddy, who is probably, yeah, that way, he seems very borderline to me, actually, like very unhealed and unaware borderline, especially because he calls all the women he dates borderline, but he just has a lot of those features and defense mechanisms. But that's what I don't want you to get into. I make this content so you're aware, and that you don't feel alone, because sometimes, especially in a toxic relationship, you feel like you're crazy. You feel like, because they tell you that you're crazy or you're making stuff up, or they try to minimize and deflect and put it back on you and gaslight you and all that. So you can get to a point where you're like, oh my God, I must be the only one going through this, and I have a lot of shame about it, especially because it started off with so much love bombing, and I was sure I was in love. So I make that content for you guys to know that you're not alone. But in all of my content, it's solution focused. So I will talk about something and then give a technique, a solution, something for you to work with. I don't just, bitch about things. So I just want you to know that, like, at all times. And then if it's not clear, the solution or the technique I'm offering, please always ask or like write it in the comments, because I always want to provide as much clarity as possible. And also, it's about repetition, right? So sometimes saying it in several different ways is helpful too. And we have to, when we're doing that and we're focused on the solution, we're activating the reticular activating system. That is what we're activating in the brain, the reticular activating system, RAS. And so your reticular activating system was focused on this, and it was very fear-based, and it was giving a lot of energy through emotion to the problem. And so if we can reroute the reticular activating system to the solution, which is what the technique in the beginning that we were just talking about, if you reroute it that way, then more of the solution will show up, and then you'll create that muscle. And then after a while, it's just like your baseline state. You always have healthy relationships. Your health is always great. Your finances are always great. Yeah, it's 2026. Nothing wrong with being gay, but man, yeah, there's nothing. I don't care what kink you're into. I mean, as long as it's not harming anyone. But the whole thing of like really being homophobic and really, which is a form of hate, and then always being in a relationship with a woman and then always putting her down, and always to the point of like severe like emotional abuse and sometimes physical abuse, and then going and doing the thing that you hate. And like narcissists have a lot of shame. The things that they hate the most, they actually embody, so and I could say that I remember when I was not aware and in my healing phase and dating narcissists, and they'd be like, I fucking hate hypocrites, for example. And I'm like, you are the biggest hypocrite. What is happening? I'm so confused. So that is something to be aware of. And also, if you know that you're dealing with one of these people and they are like adamantly against something, it's because they have that. I mean, that's true just in general, but especially with these toxic, unaware, willingly unaware people. Street Cat asking why I kept repeating patterns, dating same emotional, unavailable people. Oh, yeah. Well, that's okay. Asking that is the first step, right? You're being aware of it and then wondering why. Like, in wondering why, at least you're not in victim mode, like, oh, everyone's this way and poor me and everything. It's kind of like, oh, why am I attracting this? Let's look at this. And so when you are dating people that are emotionally unavailable, here's the interesting part about it, is that there is somewhere in you that you're emotionally unavailable. There's somewhere where you are afraid to be seen and heard for like who you truly actually are. So, and that might be worth exploring. Like, were you shamed for voicing your opinion? Were you told that your existence doesn't matter or that your opinions don't matter? So what is there where you feel unsafe if you're fully seen or fully heard? because with people that are like, I attract emotionally unavailable people, and they're like, I really want to attract someone that's available, but it's like, and they have this like anxious attachment sometimes, and then if that person were to show up, it wouldn't, like, it would either trigger an avoidant thing where you'd push them away, or the anxiety or the anxious attachment would amplify even more, and it would cause an imbalance in the relationship, and it would push that person away. So what is it? And also, is there an unconscious belief that people believe? Or is there an unconscious belief that you feel unworthy of love? Because that's another thing. Did you have to overperform for love? Were you told that love is scarce, or if you don't do all of these things, then I'll leave, like a narcissistic parent would. And with narcissistic parents, it's never enough. So you always have this feeling of like, oh man, it's never enough. And especially if you grew up that way, because parents also provide safety, they provide love and safety. So if you feel like you have to overperform and it's never enough, that creates a baseline feeling of like love is anxiety producing, and I have to do all of these things and they could leave at any time. It doesn't feel safe. So we have to reset your nervous system to associate love with safety, and consistency and security with safety, and that feels nice, because sometimes when we have the security or safety, then we're like, oh, I'm bored and I'm going to push it away. Hey, question. I was dating someone that told me their mom was a narcissist, but I dealt with all of the signs of a person of one that is one, but said her mom is. Do they lie like that? Or, right, but I felt like I can be. Okay, well, let me answer that first part. Yes, they do. So both of those things can be true. You could have been dating her and her mom was definitely a narcissist, and a lot of narcissistic parents raise narcissistic children. So both could be true. And a lot of narcissists and borderline people that have these cluster B personalities will accuse other people of it, because they have been told by someone that you're a narcissist or you're borderline. So they'll accuse other people of that. So both can be true. But if your instinct is, or your observation is, well, you have a lot of narcissistic qualities, yeah, she probably does. So, but the way you're wording the question makes me think that she was saying that to deflect from the fact that she was a narcissist. Whether or not her mom was a narcissist or not, the fact is that, especially if you're saying, street cat, that you have a pattern of attracting emotionally unavailable people. I'm assuming that she had a lot of those qualities, because narcissists are obviously choosing to be emotionally unavailable. Real emotion and real intimacy is very threatening for them, because they hate themselves. And so if people really see them, it's just too threatening. And they're very afraid of abandonment. So I'm assuming, street cat, that that's probably what happened. You're right, but I felt I can be with people and open up the unconditional, but people don't have that always for you. Yes, but like, it's about, first of all, it's deciding that there's a ton of emotionally available people. There is. And so you might have a baseline belief of like, everyone's emotionally unavailable, I keep attracting, and like, yeah, in the past you did. The past doesn't exist anymore, literally. So at any time you could be like, you know what? Now I attract emotionally available people. I attract people that I can have these really fulfilling relationships with, and it's very rewarding, and all of those things. If you could literally refocus on that, again, taking all of those old beliefs, old patterns, and saying, you know what? I'm just choosing that this is the case now, and that this is what's going on for me. And you broke that. I feel like people open up like unconditional, but people, I'm not sure what you meant by that, but I think that you're saying that sometimes people open up. I don't know what the like unconditional means, but the thing is that it can be consistent. I think that what you're saying in that last message is like, street cat, is that it's inconsistent. That's a thing that you can reprogram. my relationships, love, all of it gets to be consistent. I get to consistently be supported and feel safe and loved and taken care of and all of those things. Yeah, the anxious. Yeah, the anxious attachment. When you're anxiously attached or the anxiety comes up in connection with people, that usually attracts avoidant people. And so when we can heal that anxious attachment and move to a secure attachment where it's like, I know that I'm loved. I know that I'm worthy of love. If you want to be in my life, fine. But if you're inconsistent and whatever, I have my standards and I'm fine with not having you in my life instead of like being so anxious about it. Um, let's see, Bob. What helped me reduce anxiety in dating was working on being more secure in myself. Exactly. The secure attachment starts with the attachment that you have with yourself and the relationship and self-concept that you have with yourself. So for avoidant people, their baseline self-concept and belief is like if anyone got too close, they wouldn't love me. They would be disgusted by me. So what do? They love bomb in the beginning and then they find things to just like pick at and get disgusted by because that's their relationship with themselves. And then the anxious attachment really has very similar baseline beliefs, but their thing is it's like, I have to overperform and then you love me. I always have to do these things to show you like, it's like, well, do you feel like you're good enough already? And if you have anxious attachment style or anxiety shows up in relationships, can you tell yourself, I'm okay no matter what. And I love myself no matter what. Even if there's things, of course, there's always things to improve. I'm not saying be this person that's like, oh no, I don't need to work on anything. All I'm saying is this like with my flaws, I'm evolving every day and I could still choose to love and accept myself as I grow and heal. And I trust myself that I will attract the healthiest relationships, the supportive relationships, loving relationships, instead of just trying to cling to something because I feel like it's going to leave at any minute. Um, let's see, Tilly, Bob. Yeah, please be respectful. Like, and I'm here holding a safe space for you to talk about mental health, relationships, and speaking of secure attachment, like I say before, like and I mentioned this because a lot of people when they want to start like social media and everything, they're like, "Are you worried about what people think?" I'm telling you right now, I don't give a fuck. Like if you have a negative comment or you're trying to like whatever about me, I don't like I'm here for you guys. This isn't about like anything else. So like I would take your energy and work on yourself instead of trying to like write a comment that you think is going to negatively affect me because it's not. Um but Street Cat, I thought we had the perfect thing months later gone. Yeah, so that sounds like the idealization or the love bombing phase where these emotionally unavailable people, they're like, oh my God, this is it. This is perfect, blah, blah, blah. And what it does for you that really wants that, you really want to have the perfect thing and have the fairy tale or whatever, that it literally creates a dopamine and serotonin and oxytocin like mix, and plus they find out about you and what you want the most. So it's like if you want to get married or if you want to like move to Italy, whatever it is, it's like yes, and we'll do this and we'll just be together forever. And that literally creates what is literally like a drug in your brain, like all of the same like parts of the brain and receptors that go off when you do certain highly addictive drugs are the same things that go off when you're in that love bombing phase. It's very addictive. And then when they start to slight you, they start to devalue you, you're like, whoa, I got to get my hit. Wait, where's our bond? Wait, please don't go away. Please don't go away. And so now you're in this cortisol state where all the cortisol has peaked and you're very stressed out. And all you want to do is get back to that idealization love bombing phase. And that's why I call narcissists and these toxic personalities like drug dealers, because they like make this drug and like get you all addicted to it, which is them and the relationship. And like this person that doesn't really exist, like you said, months later gone. And it's like I fell in love with someone that didn't even exist. That relationship was built on this whole like fantasy of love bombing and it wasn't even real. So you're grieving two things. You're grieving the person in the relationship that didn't even exist. And then like the whole actual dynamic, the relationship and the person is what I meant. So it's a lot. It's like this compounded grief and confusion. And then you like are in this whirlwind and you're like, what happened? So know that that's normal and we have to detox ourselves from these people. That's why when you get out of a toxic relationship, I know that it can be very tempting to just hop into something else. And especially because the toxic person who narcissist borderlines, they always jump into something else as quickly as possible to numb out. So they don't have to. So they're using the next person to numb out and not deal with any grief and all of that. But can you reset yourself? Can you reset your nervous system and your brain by just being alone and going internal and working on yourself? That's one of the first things, whether it's someone that takes my course on healing from toxic relationships or I'm working directly one-on-one with someone. I'm like, can you take this time to just detox and put all of your energy back to yourself? Because that relationship, you gave a lot of energy to it. Narcissists and toxic people, they really drain you. They're energy vampires. So can you get all of that energy back, all that love that you were given? Can you just bring it all towards you? And it is difficult at first because your nervous system is still like trying to respond to that addiction. But the more and more you focus on yourself, like showing up to this live stream or journaling, doing any of the neurological reprogramming techniques I talk about, the easier it will get. And then you'll get to a point where you're like, wow, that was like a different lifetime. I would never, ever have a relationship like that again. And I love that. I love when I get to that point with people where it's like we're talking and it's like, wow, remember back in the day, and it was maybe even 3 months ago. And it's like you're just such in a different place right now. It's so rewarding to watch people. Hi, Kurt. Oh, thank you for the answer. Yeah, of course. That's what this space is for. Cope. I'm just going to say cope. Just getting over a breakup with a dismissive avoidant, covert narc. Yeah. Lasted only a month, but it's the worst feeling. It is. I want to acknowledge that. Like, even if it was just a month, because I feel like some people like minimize it, like you don't even date that long, including the narcissist. They'll be like, what relationship? That was nothing. They'll go from I love you, this is about we're together forever. And then it's like, what the fuck was that? Whatever, that's nothing to me. So I do want to acknowledge that even though it was a month, like it's just so much intense emotions and things going on with these people. And then they eventually circle back, which is the most dangerous part. Lasted only a month, but it's the worst feeling, even though I might be a super dark empath, red flags early, but I stayed because I needed to know for sure. I might be an anxious attachment type also. Yeah, so anxious attached type of people typically attract narcissist and the dismissive avoidant types because we have this unhealed if you have anxious attachment style, like you have a typically there's some wounding around what your self-concept is around love, and that love was scarce, love was hard. If you did something wrong, love would be taken away, safety would be taken away. So those people respond to the trauma. Like if you have anxious attachment, you respond to the trauma by trying to be perfect or trying to overcompensate and doing all those things. Now avoidant people are just like, okay, well, never mind, and they're just as hurt internally, but then they'll numb out or go to the next person and just be like, oh yeah, I never liked you anyway, type of thing. And that is good self-awareness, Cope, that yeah, there is probably some anxious attachment there. And so can you look into that? Can you say like, whatever it is, like in that love bombing phase, it's really informative actually. So during the love bombing phase, what were they telling you? What were they promising you? What were they, because that is what you actually want, even like beyond the red flags. And yeah, we do ignore the red flags because we want to believe the love bombing stuff so much. So it's like, let me ignore that because I really want this. I really want whatever it is, to get married, to feel safe, to whatever, for you to save me from like it doesn't it's all so in the love bombing phase, what were they promising or advertising about themselves? And unfortunately, it's not true. You end up falling for someone that didn't even exist. But what was it? That will be very informative to your healing. Thank you. I'm trying, I know, but I have my own yeah, stray cat. We all have our patterns, but it's just dismantling the ones that aren't serving you. Just like the neurological reprogramming technique I started with, the cognitive restructuring, it's like, okay, I've had that pattern. And at some point, it did serve you. It helped you survive, maybe in childhood. You just don't need it anymore. Now it's just causing issues. It's like really outdated software. It's glitching. It's not working at all. It's like making your life worse because the program like Windows 92 like barely works, right? So it's like we just have to uninstall that program and download a new, efficient, healthy, like clean one. Love bombed. Yeah. Yeah, copia. Just like right, like just like I was mentioning, it's always that. So look into that love bombing phase and like study it like you're a scientist and your answers will be there. Street cat, I don't know about these mind ends or attachment styles. Oh, attachment styles, I'll go over it. Well, secure attachment is where you want to be. So when you're in a secure attached relationship, both people do their own thing. You're not worried. Like there's this like deep sense of safety and peace and real love that is consistent. And so the secure attachment should start with yourself. When you have a secure attachment with yourself, you will attract secure attached relationships, work dynamics, and family members will that aren't that way will just stop annoying you. So that's the secure attachment. And anxious attachment is what you're talking about. Like the minute they're not around, you're like worried that that they're going to dump you, or that you have to overperform, or what if this happens, or like I need to talk to you. We need to text all the time, and we need to be on the phone, and we need to spend all this time together. And then the avoidant attachment is like in the beginning they're love bombing and they could do all the things and act really, but then they switch to like being like disgusted and like, ugh, I don't like you for like get away from me. And a lot of times they move back and forth between the two. Um, but both people can't experience real intimacy. But the avoidant, they'll they'll dip their toe back in and be like, okay, well, let's have sex. And then the anxious person, because they're so desperate for that connection, they're like, oh yeah, okay. And then they'll like have sex, for instance. And then the anxious person's like, okay, that kind of regulated me. And then the avoidant's like, okay, bye. And then like the anxious attached person is like holding on to like whatever the little crumbs of attention that the avoidant person gave them. And then the avoidant person is like, oh my god, it feels overwhelming to have that much attention. But then after a while, if they don't get enough attention, they're like, why aren't you giving me attention? So both people are suffering in their own way with intimacy, and both people have reservations and fear around intimacy. Till now I had to stop this. Address I have add address I have Oh, and address I had of an issue? Well, yeah, that's good. Like, again, when we can just take time to be by ourselves, it's very helpful. That's where the healing happens, instead of just trying to numb out with the next person or situation. Okay, that confirms it. You can definitely see what I remove. Oh, well, I'm glad you're removing it. Thank you, Bob. Issue. Yeah, got it. And turned my friends against me. Here's the thing about turning friends against you. Are they your real friends? If they can be turned against you, like think about that. And I would invite you to ask yourself, if I have friends that can be turned so quickly, like were they really your friends? And maybe that's another part of this anxious attachment street cat is like, that you get to be worthy of having real friends that are loving and supportive. And that doesn't mean like you could still do something wrong. Or let's say your ex comes around and tries to turn them against you. Can they be diplomatic and be like, hey, your ex is telling me this, and you're telling me this, but they don't completely abandon you because some toxic person said something. So that tells me you're in a place where you get to have a big clearing and actually attract real supportive friends that don't just turn against you because some toxic ex said some stuff. So it's a really big opportunity you have to recalibrate and attract like real solid connection and love and support. I'm gonna delete that one. Awesome. A lot of young men, Huology says, a lot of young men are anxious types these days, and women are avoidant, opposite of how it traditionally used to be. What do you think? I don't know if that's true. I think that people are more maybe not expressive, but honest about what's going on internally. But I haven't noticed that in my private practice or anything like that. I do think that there's like a toxic, just like we talk about like the toxic red pill masculinity type of thing. I do think that that's also the like women like, oh fuck guys, blah blah blah, and like hating men too. And I do think that I have a video about this, but I should repost it. I talk about the DL narcissistic men because I get so many questions about it. But there are toxic lesbians among us, like fucking vampires, and they hate men. They will date men, they will marry men, they'll use them for whatever, but they hate men. And they will, they're, hooking up with their girlfriends or whatever, but they fucking hate men. And it's the same type of thing. So is that an avoidant thing? Yeah, I think it can be too. But I don't know if there's been a real like shift in terms of more women are avoidant. I haven't noticed that, and I haven't heard any statistics about that. And these statistics are really hard to actually like, they're not very meaningful, I don't think, because an avoidant person isn't like doing some survey like, oh yes, I'm very avoidant. I mean, anxious people, anxiously attached people are more, they want solution. They want their nervous system to feel at ease. So anxious attached people tend to seek help, answer surveys like that more than avoidance. So Rabbit, we're talking about mental health. If you don't have anything to say about that, you can fuck off. Hi from Greece. Oh my gosh. Hello, Nico. But as you said in your video, they weren't friends or real friends anyway, but still had no conflict with these people. And now they turned and took her side. Well, then maybe they're not your friends. And like, again, on this channel, we talk about mental health and relationships, and we also talk about taking accountability. So if there is something that you needed to take accountability for, fine. But if you have the ability to take accountability and your friends are just like completely abandoning you for, I don't know, that's all. I would be fine just clearing those people out. Like, let them all be toxic together. That's why I say that all the time. Let those people hang out with each other. You're over here healing and trying to be a better person and focused on your evolution. And so I would be curious, like, why do I feel like relationships are so fickle that they could just leave at any time, that like I could have this whirlwind toxic person, like, and then just abandon me, and then my friends believe her and my friends abandon me. So there's an abandonment wound that is ready to be looked at. I use this too. She got with someone not even 2 months. Ugh. She probably got with someone while you were dating her. That's the other thing. Like narcissists and all these cluster B toxic types, they always have people in the background. I mean, very typically. Hi, Big Pontiac. Good to have you. here on Soothing Sundays, they always have people in the background. And I hate to say that, but I'm always gonna keep it real with you, and it hurts to find that out eventually, but they keep their exes around, and it's for attention and validation, but just in case you randomly break up with him, they're going right to that other supply. But they always have a good amount, a healthy amount of supply in the background. So I'm sure she got with someone, like, right away, or even while she was dating you, unfortunately. It does suck to fall for someone that really didn't exist, and but you can grieve that and heal from that and never attract it again. I make a lot of this content for you guys to know that you can look at these patterns and find out what they really are and never attract it again. And no, it doesn't need to take decades of therapy. It really can happen very quickly. You can shift these things out of your nervous system and recalibrate your nervous system and mind. Again, think of it as like uninstalling an old program like you would on your computer or phone, and then installing a new, more efficient program. And it just takes a little bit of discipline and focus on yourself. Oh, Bob, I really like the computer operating system. Yeah, your mind is very much like a computer. So if you think about it like that, and it's also like empowering, I think. I really try to empower you guys and remind you of how powerful you are. Maybe sometimes even inform you because we feel so powerless because of a very dramatic situation or trauma that just has taken over for so long. And that's okay to feel that way, but just know that you have so much more power than you maybe realize at this point, and your mind is so powerful. And so, yeah, at any moment, we could uninstall that program. And sometimes we need to. Think about if you were trying to run Windows 92 or whatever on your, think about how inefficient it would be. So we can't do that version with our relationships or how we see ourselves. From Albania, baby. Hi from Albania. Wow. Um, Detroit became mutant. Hi. Hi, Detroit. We are talking about mental health, relationships, healing from toxic relationships, and recalibrating for the week. So I always start with a neurological reprogramming tool to shift your brain so you can have the best week possible and get rid of old patterns that aren't serving you anymore. So that's what we do every Sunday for Soothing Sundays. And then I also live stream on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific. Street Cat, I feel insecure till they start lying, or maybe you feel secure until they start lying. I have a low tolerance for lies. Doesn't make me a pleasant person in relationships. And there go the secure out the window. So that's, then you're not secure all the way, right? Because when you are secure, what that means is like you're so solid that you would be unaffected by that, right? So if, for instance, if I have insecurity and really some unconscious or subconscious thing that I'm fat or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm fine. And then the moment someone's like, oh, you're fat, or like pokes my stomach and I freak the fuck out, that means that I still have some insecurity about my body. And just as an example. So when you are really secure, you can't be shook really. Or maybe a little bit comes up and then you're like, "Oh, let me look at that." But it doesn't send you, it doesn't like fly out the window, and it doesn't like, you don't get triggered in the same way. But remember, your triggers are your teachers. So at any time, instead of judging yourself or being like, "Oh, I'm out of control, I got that triggered." What is it telling you? It's really teaching you something. And it's just teaching you, "Hey, there's an opportunity to look at something, to heal this. There's a lie about myself that I'm believing." So your triggers are your teachers, and we don't need to judge ourselves for them, but we also don't need to completely believe them and react to them. So whatever goes out the window, okay, keep it in the window. Um, but when you are at that really secure place, it's just, it feels so rock solid and it can't be shook. So continue to work on that. Continue to work on your secure attachment with yourself and knowing that you'll always be okay, you'll always be loved and supported no matter what. Yes, Detroit, you can ask a question. Yes, you can ask a question, Detroit. Good, I'm glad you're in recalibrating mode. That's a great place to be, Street Cat. Yes. Thank you, Bob. Keep it related to mental health, relationships. No, you're not a weirdo or a freak. People have their kinks. Good. Yeah, street cat. Healing alone, I mean, what I mean by healing alone is that you're not jumping into another relationship because you're gonna keep attracting the same patterns, but work with someone, work with a therapist or coach, have a supportive community that is around healing. Like, you know, another group that I've talked about before is Al-Anon. It's like the sister program to AA and all the addiction 12-step programs. But in Al-Anon, you learn how to have better relationships. And the same for ACA. It's another 12-step program, but it's just ACA is awesome. It's just about childhood trauma. And there's a lot of nice, supportive, loving people. So you can heal a lot faster with someone, you know? So even if you have to start with ChatGPT, you know, it's not like I have clients that come to me and they're like, you know what? I've done a lot of therapy, but I'm like, oh, tell me about it. They're like, well, it's with chat. And I'm like, that's discovery, you know, but when our nervous systems are meant to connect with other people. And so you heal on a different level when you are talking to a human being or a set of human beings, like in a support group. But I just want you to focus completely on you, street cat, and anyone that's healing from a traumatic relationship or anything. You get to focus on you. Even if you have children and a family, great, but you still get to have you time. Yeah. Good, I'm glad you're not jumping into new relationships. I started taking mood stabilizer and it worked miracles for me. Good. Even if you're taking a mood stabilizer, guys, you still have to do the work. If you're new here, how I feel about mood stabilizers is that I think that they should be temporary to help you stabilize. Then you want to, if you can, wean yourself off of them because like long term they can do things to the brain and body that aren't that great. So I'm glad that that you're in a good place. And again, this isn't medical advice, this is just my opinion. And you know, in my private practice I've helped a lot of people get off of them because it just starts to have a rebound effect, but I'm happy that that's working for you now. um, I have a serious question. Guys, I'm creating this space, a safe place for people to talk about mental health issues and relationships. Like, just go away if you're not doing that, please. Um, but see, Street Cat, you'll get to the point where it won't even suck that they always have someone. It's just pathetic. You know, like you'll realize that after a while because they're just doing the same shit and then they're getting worse. I have to tell you, like, so I had a similar situation to you, Street Cat, with like an ex, and then he was trying to talk shit, but you know, these people play themselves out and it's like, okay. And so what does he do? He starts dating someone else right away. And I didn't do that. I worked on myself. And then he circled back, oh god, I want to say like 7 or 8 years later. And he's like emotionally and even like physically decrepit. It's like, really, you're doing the same shit? And he's like, haha, yeah, I guess I'm afraid of intimacy. It's so funny. And it's like, it's not. And then ironically, I started having a lot of clients that knew him and they're like, oh my God, he's so hard to be around and no one wants to do deals with him and all this stuff. So they're going to play themselves out, and it's not going to, just know that if it brings any solace to you, that their life isn't getting any better. Your life won't get better if you keep doing the same toxic patterns, and then eventually you play out everyone and you have to look at yourself. That's what this narcissistic collapse is about. The more we become aware and the more we heal, they can't use us as supply because we're not enabling them. So even if you could stop thinking about them and just like training your brain, I know you watched the video Street Cat about having obsessive thoughts and about someone especially, and uh, how to not have them, how to get out of that mode. So even watching videos like that and focusing on yourself, is you're moving in the right direction. Yeah, it does hurt when someone has someone in the background. Um, and I'm sure that made it more painful. And that's the thing, you get to here's another reframe and another way to rewire your brain, but really like feel into it. What does it feel like to have a healthy, safe relationship where that doesn't even cross your mind? And do you know that you're worthy of that? Do you really know that you're worthy of the love and security and calm and peace? Do you really know that, Cope? And like, so, or can you know that on a deeper level and feel into that? And I say it that way because when we feel into things, we're rewiring our nervous system, and our nervous system is literally like it's an electromagnetic field. Your heart can be measured up to, I think, arm's distance now. So if you start to regulate your nervous system in that way, you will attract it differently. So you don't think of love and then you think of like, oh, someone cheating on me. You think of it like, oh yeah, of course I'm worthy of a safe, peaceful relationship. Yeah, exactly. We're all unique. We all have our things. Um, they make you feel like you weren't worth anything. Yeah, because that's how they feel. That is a common feeling that especially narcissists do. They make you feel like you weren't worth anything, that relationship wasn't anything, because that's how they feel about themselves. Narcissists are the most insecure people in the world. They have so much guilt and shame that they're carrying that they refuse to process. So they have to constantly offload it on you. And when they offload it on you and make you feel like shit, they feel temporarily relieved. That's why they keep supply around. And so they keep supply around to praise and, in the love bombing phase, like, oh my God, you're amazing. Or they use you to dump all their shit on. Okay. So, but please know they're making you feel that way because that is their internal experience. That is not a fact about who you are at all. That is them projecting their shit on you. But it is not about who you are at all. Please know that. If you hear anything else, when these people project onto you, that is not any type of fact about who you are. It is your nervous system feeling how they feel about themselves. And you're not like an emotional dumping ground. You know what I mean? You don't have to take that on. So immediately when you start to feel that, leave it alone. Even with dating, you'll feel it. You'll feel it quickly. And that's just like, nope, not responding to that. Nope. Caught in her lie and someone over her house and lied and gaslit me. That was the last straw for me. Yeah, that's a really common dynamic. And you have to remember these toxic people, they're literally addicted to drama. Why? Because drama it creates a buffer with intimacy. So if there's all this shit going on and there's other people involved in the lies and everything, you can't have a real connection with someone like that. And that's what they're trying to avoid, real intimacy. Because the fear is that if you really know who I am, you'll hate me because I think I'm a piece of shit. So I don't want you to ever find out that I'm a piece of shit. So I'm going to make you feel like a piece of shit. And also in the meantime, I'm going to cheat on you with a bunch of people to get my praise and adoration also, so I don't get too close to you because I don't like it's too threatening to have any type of feelings towards you. That is what they're thinking. That is, and they can change it if they want to. They just choose not to. They just choose to find new supply. Hi, Larry. Hello, Dolph from London. Can you make the can you make the fire from just thinking about it? Mind has more power than words and actions have power. Who knows the limits to the mind? If you're familiar with the Monroe Institute, they teach people some crazy shit. And like it's people that I mean, again, I used to work for the government, so a lot of the stuff has been like declassified about remote viewing. So literally you're sitting here and you could access, I mean, the CIA and different forms of government use remote viewers to spy on people. It's like common knowledge now. And at the Monroe Institute, they teach people how to like read with a blindfold on, like so you could psychically see it with your eye, words on a page. And there's certain schools where they teach kids to do that. So they're, accessing or they're not suppressing their intuitive mind. But can the mind I don't put any limits on the mind because there are, systems in place that don't want you to know how powerful you are, right? Because then they can't control you. Hello from London, England via Jamaica. Nice. Wow. Hello. Salberg. David, when I broke up, I just flew to the Philippines. Yeah, don't do that. And also, we're here to talk about like mental health and stuff. If you don't have anything constructive to say, and by the way, like any self-respecting woman is like so grossed out by that. I have to say, like, and that should be a red flag. If a guy's like, "Oh, I love the Philippines," just saying. And again, that's like a form of numbing out. Like, okay, I'm just instead of dealing with my feelings, I'm going to try to get validation from literal hookers who are just paying to have whatever, but it'll make me have this false sense of something, right? And men that, like, again, men that hire hookers like that, a lot of them are secretly gay. And also, it's like, do you feel like you can't get that on your own, so you have to pay for it? Probably. Um, right, you right. Hi, Fresh. How are you? Diverse group tonight, right? Hey, Mike. How are you? The reason you don't feel powerful is you let yourself get distracted. Learn what the difference is focus and nonsense. Yeah. And sometimes people are addicted to getting distracted, right? Like the whole doom scrolling thing, it's really an addiction loop because it's a form of numbing out. And so, yes, it's like on the like in the prefrontal cortex, like logically it's like, yes, you're allowing yourself to get distracted, but why? What is the underlying belief? What is the lie that you're believing? Like you're not worth like it'll never happen for you. You're not worthy of the success that you want. Why? You know what I mean? Because if you're allowing yourself to get distracted, what are you trying to keep away from yourself? That that connection that you want, that thing that you want. Even like getting distracted from like let's go back to the doom scrolling example. Then you're up till 1 in the morning. Like, do you not deserve to have a good night's sleep and have a great start to the day and the week? You know what I'm saying? So there's yes, it is about getting like allowing yourself to get distracted, but why? What lie are you believing about yourself or what you're worthy of having? Yeah, Cope is like, "By the way, I'm good looking and I go to the gym every day and I don't have low self-esteem about my looks." That's fine. You don't need to have low self-esteem about your looks, but you have a if you've attracted someone like this in a relationship like this, you have some type of underlying belief consciously or or subconsciously that you're not worthy of love, or love isn't stable, love isn't safe, or maybe it is for everyone else but not you. There is that, trust me. I have the same thing. I work out every day. I don't, you know what, I don't look I don't know, that's the feedback I get. I'm like a solid 5, like, I don't know, but like, the thing is that I still for a long time attracted those type of people. And so, and I remember I'd have friends that are like, "You're so this and that, and why are you attracting these losers that are, you deserve so much better." And it's because I had an underlying belief about my worthiness and that I didn't deserve to have the love and safety and security I want. And I grew up, um, I guess unconsciously believing that love wasn't safe, that I had to not speak up, not be seen or heard to experience love or safety. And then I had to just like accept little breadcrumbs and make a feast out of those breadcrumbs every time I got little breadcrumbs of like love or safety. And it's like, oh, thank you. I just, blah, blah, blah. And I just have to put up with that. And I had a narcissistic mom who was very envious of me. And so she was just always trying to like, you don't deserve that. You don't deserve, it's like, because God forbid I'm happy or feel worthy, because she didn't feel that way about herself. So she chose to project that onto me. And then I had to become conscious of that and heal that. So cope, there's probably something like that there. And you can just be aware of it. And then you can decide, okay, I'm going to rewrite this. I'm going to choose to, I was believing this lie, maybe even unconsciously, about myself or relationships or both. And now I'm going to choose this. I'm just going to choose different. And every time that old memory comes up, or every time that I'm just going to go, oh yeah, this is my new belief system. I do have to learn, but I feel like I'm in a good place to know where I have been messing up reactions to things. Yeah, it's about self-awareness, always. About self-awareness and accountability. Those things will make your life so much better. And a willingness to change, a willingness to evolve. A simple question: how does one focus on oneself, on picking up patterns? So, space time entanglements, you're asking, how does one focus on oneself, on picking up patterns in the other? Um, are you asking, how do you notice, like, in your nervous system? I'm gonna assume that's what you mean by that question, but when you are around someone, are you ignoring red flags? Do you get a pit in your stomach? Do you get certain things? Like, I would get a pit in my stomach. I wouldn't be able to, like, my throat would be like scratchy, and there's just different things. Or you're making excuses for the person. That's how you know. But there could be a bunch of different things. Pick up on the other. Yeah, so I think you're talking about intuition, and then also just trusting your intuition. Like, sometimes because your intuition could come in different ways. It could be just like a knowing, like, you just know. You don't know how you know, but you know. Listen to that. Or you could feel it in your nervous system. I have some clients, they start getting really itchy around toxic people, even during the love bombing phase. Just pay attention to your reactions to things. You're welcome, street cat. Hi, Miss Priya, how are you? What about moving to a new place to get further away from people you want to avoid? You can move. You can absolutely move, but you still have to do the internal work, because what you don't want to do is think moving is the solution to the problem. Your problems or your patterns will follow you wherever you go. Now, if you want a fresh start, of course. Like, we love fresh starts. We love new patterns. And you could even do that by cleaning your house or decorating a different way, or buying a new whatever for your living room or bedroom, especially because you spend a lot of time in there. So, yes, it can be, but if it is part of your healing process, not just you thinking that a location is going to solve the problem, because it won't. It's an inside job, always. It's always an inside job. And then when we change the internal, the external changes. Such a beautiful thing. Hello, Moham. Thank you, Bob. Yeah. Like go, I don't know, go on OnlyFans if you want to do that. We're here creating a safe space for people. And us healed people are judging you because it's really pathetic. Um no, I haven't dated anyone since the breakup. Good. That's great progress because that means you're focusing on yourself. I'm 43, haven't been single since 20, just moving on, not healthy. I did this to myself, but I feel I see a pattern and went no more or want no more part of it, dealing with the hurt from people. But you're doing it. You're doing the work. And it's temporarily and painful. It's temporarily uncomfortable, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it. And then it gets easier. It's not like, oh my God, because a lot of people, they're like, I never want to feel pain again. So I'm just going to have these superficial relationships. You'll keep experiencing that pain. But if you heal from it, you just won't have the same effect. Or if it's something disappointing happens in a relationship, you're like, okay, like genuinely, you're just like, okay, because you're so securely attached that those things don't shake you like they used to. You're welcome, Street Cat. Great questions. Yeah, Mike, we don't want to take things too, I mean, and when I think of taking things too seriously, like catastrophizing things and also being so hard on yourself, people, especially people that want to look at themselves and want to heal, are typically hard on themselves. And so, can you come from a place of, like, as Mike is saying, not taking it seriously and also knowing that you're always loved and supported? So, if there is an issue that comes up, you could be like, that's going to be taken care of because of whatever you call God, source, higher power, or whatever is, or just life. Life just takes care of you. It's not like I have everything is this way and everything, but I suck and I'm terrible. Can we get out of that mode? Let's not give that pattern energy. Let's give this new pattern energy. Like maybe the past sucked. Maybe it was difficult, but now it gets to be easy. Now it gets to be miraculous. Now things get to fall into place for you. And you don't have to judge yourself and like criticize yourself all the time. When you do that, you delay the things that you want to come into your life. You delay the prayers being answered. If you're like, "Oh yeah, I suck." No. As Abraham Hicks, if you know who that is, like just be in the receiving mode. Or Neville Goddard says the same thing. Just let it be facts that your life gets to be easy, fun, prosperous. Kevin Matthew, love your channel and your message. Thank you, Kevin. Nice to have you here. It's hard, even if today it's not as heavy as it used to be. Even hearing her voice used to crush me, but I'm a little bit better. 6 months, yeah, no contact, still training, and still have, yeah, it will dissipate. It will dissipate. The more you focus on regulating your nervous system and focusing on yourself, it will get better. Okay, I'm gonna erase that. So let me know if you have any questions related to mental health. Yes, please stay on topic. Thank you, Bob. Okay, Rip. Um, Hello from Dublin. Hi, Dave. Nice to have you from Dublin, Ireland. I've always wanted to visit there. Why are the Christians in the world not concerned about the church? I have no idea. That's not really related to mental health. Greetings from Tahiti. Wow. Hello. Ilios Bruner from Tahiti. Nice to have you. Yes, no politics, please. This is a mental health channel. Thank you, Bob. Why are my childhood bullies so fixated on me even in adulthood? What is wrong with them? It's pathetic. Yeah, bullies in general. Bullies are literally fixated on the people that they bully. Because when you are bullied, typically it's because they feel like they can prey on, like, these people that have really low self-esteem. Bullies have very low self-esteem and they're carrying a lot of pain and anger, but really underneath the anger is pain, and they fixate on people that they want to be like, that they envy. You see this all the time with narcissists will just completely fixate, talk shit about the thing that they want and feel like they can't have, and it is pathetic. And I think that's a great attitude to have towards it, like, it's pathetic, and ignore it. I also, I don't know if you know who Cat Williams is. He's a comedian, but one of my favorite things that he ever says is like, if you have haters, it means you're doing something right. No one is hating on, like, the homeless drunk guy on the corner, for obvious reasons. But if you are doing things right, people are going to hate on you. And he says, I have 20 haters and I'm trying to get to 40 by the summer because that means I know that I'm doing something right. So yeah, I would say don't give it energy. And if you're into energy work, you can decide that everyone, whether they are hating on me or they're loving, anytime anyone thinks about you, it makes you healthier and wealthier and more lovable, whatever it is. Like, you're always lovable, but it brings more love into your life. You can decide that. If you decide that, if that is your core belief, that the more the haters hate on me, the more people love me, anytime anyone thinks about me at all, it turns into thousands of dollars in my bank account and this thing working at whatever it is you want. Try it. Just try it. If you're doubting it at all, just try it and see what happens. Report back. On New Year's, I had to listen all night to my drunk neighbors reminiscing about how they used to bully me. Ew. And found out lived. They got fucking furious, wanting to. Yeah, that is drama I would disengage from immediately. Why is humanity so easily manipulated? If we allow them to. That's another reason I try to. One of my messages is that your mind is so powerful, and that you can choose. Once you have an aerial view of something, it's like, do I just need to believe this about my life and the world and how it works, or can I believe that things work out for me easily? Because these, like, to your question about, like, why is humanity manipulated? Because we unconsciously allow ourselves to be. But if you decide that actually my mind is really powerful and I could create whatever I want, it could be easy. Your life can be a lot easier. And people that, with the powers that be, don't want you to know that. They want you on weight loss medications and thinking you need to buy all these things for whatever reason. Just saying. Is everything a false sense of security since everything? No, it doesn't have to be a false sense of security. The security comes from knowing that things come and go and I'm fine either way. That because I'm always okay. It's not about the outside world. Again, it's an inside job, it's internal. So it doesn't matter. The point of the sense of security is that it doesn't matter. I'm always whole and complete no matter what happens. I think a lot of men try dealing with women in the West and have found women to be difficult to deal with. Um, so there were women who are more feminine. I mean, I really think that there's feminine women and masculine women. Sometimes women being masculine is a trauma response. It's a defense mechanism because they had to be in charge of everything at a young age. But like if women aren't in their femininity, like it's usually a trauma response. Thank you, Rip Watts. Thanks so much. Time, space, time entanglements. The question throws up both negative and positive thoughts all day. This internal aspect of the mind is beyond our control. No. What can what we can control is how we react and accept our minds. We can control our minds are very powerful and we have complete control over them. That is the point. Get money, enjoy solitude. Hi, Bruce. Nice to have you again. I'm experienced to recognize the red flags, but I ignore them. So, yeah, there you go, Cope. You ignore them. Maybe I was using her too, but I got hooked. Yeah, just like I was saying before, you ignore the red flags because you got hooked to the love bombing stage and all the things that she was promising you and that she was pretending to be. I should have been better. Like, well, it's just about learning. Remember, you don't have to should on yourself. You should do this, I should. We're just learning. We're just learning in real time and evolving in real time. So it's okay. It's okay to make a mistake. You're getting better. Just like in the Silva method, you tell yourself every day in every way I'm getting better and better. Every day in every way I'm getting better and better. Yeah, that's messed up. They sound very sick people. Hope you know it's a reflection of them. Yes, exactly. It's a reflection of them and not you. But and also let's discontinue giving it energy because whatever we give energy to expands. We create more of it. So it's kind of like, how about if you choose to live in a space where there's no drama? You know, you have more love and support and fun in your life instead of that. Personality disorder people keep asking me those gotcha those got you questions to gain power over me. No one could, Miss Priya, no one could trigger you or gain power over you unless you let them. And again, your triggers are your teachers. So if you are getting triggered by a question that a toxic person is asking you, why is it triggering you? Think about it. What are you believing about yourself that isn't true? That's the real question. Because then they can't trigger you. You're not that powerless. Like people don't have that type of control over you, even though it might seem like that. And once you become aware of your triggers and you're able to release them, you're untouchable. So if I wanted to hire you, what would you teach? It totally depends. When I work one-on-one with people, it's very customized to their goals and what they actually want to do. Hello. Raul. So thoughts of thoughts of that, you first of all, I would definitely start working with a professional immediately. And when we have thoughts of like unaliving ourselves, it's we feel very desperate and we feel kind of at the end of our rope and we feel like giving up. And there's an opportunity to know that it's not time for that. Like it's I always feel like it's an opening to understand your worth and understand what you're here for, what you're here to do, and be able to receive the love and support that you might consciously or unconsciously be blocking off. But what is it? Um, and just know, and you're asking this, I think it's wonderful that you're asking it because it's showing me that that's not something you really want to do. But with work like that, one, find a suicide hotline, and two, start working with someone immediately because that's so personalized and um, it requires a lot of one-on-one attention, I think. There's nothing wrong with you, Miguel. Hi, Victor. Hi, Victor. Yeah, that's weird, Bob. Maybe it's I think it's maybe on my end. I'll have to see if I could, fix that on my end so it doesn't show me either. But thank you so much. I so appreciate you. Bruce, from 3 days ago, I often feel nervous I feel nervous without reason. I make chilling myself I make chilling myself by some sound with high I think that means frequencies. Maybe I'm on a high vibe? What do you mean? Um, are you saying, Bruce, that you regulate yourself with high frequencies? It's okay to get nervous for no reason. Sometimes it's just our nervous system trying to help us out, but it's like, "Oh, I don't need that anymore." Maybe in the past, you needed to be on guard, but you don't need that anymore. So you can just tell your nervous system, "Oh, you're fine." And yeah, listening to high frequency music helps. Miss Priya, oh, I meant to ask, when you cut off a difficult person, you have to cut off several others, yeah, linked to them. So there's grieving. Yeah, Miss Priya, you've I think that you're on the precipice of really understanding, like, you might have to cut off a lot of people, and it's sad at first. I've been there, and then it's so much better after, and then it's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I put up with that. No mas," you know? So you have to grieve it. Grieving is uncomfortable, but when you grieve toxicity out of your life, you make so much more room for actual healthy relationships. But yes, like because you've asked like a lot, and I feel like there's like the denial part of the grief, like, oh, I might have to let go of all these people. Yes, you might have to, but the people that care about you and that really want to be in your life will circle back. They will, and they'll try to have some type of relationship with you. I've had it happen in my life where I'm like, I'm never talking to this person again, and then other people connected with them will be like, "Oh, well, no, come on, come," and I'm like, "No, stop trying to guilt trip me, or I'll cut you off too. I can have a relationship with you, but I'm choosing to not have a relationship with this person, and you can either respect my boundaries or not. That's it. Those are the 2 choices. Like, and if you respect my boundaries, then fine, I could still have a relationship with you, but I am choosing to not have a relationship with this person." And you just say it that cleanly. That's it. It's like, no is a complete sentence. That's it. It's my boundary. That's it. And there's no negotiating on your boundaries. Um, they love bomb track. Yeah, they love bomb. Well, live met one. Used to talk Let's see. Well, I met this one lady online and used to talk to her every night, and now she's ghosting me. I became clingy, I guess. Well, did you guys just talk online? Maybe she wanted to like also meet in real life and she didn't want to just talk online. Um, Melon had you. Yeah, ghosting does hurt. We used to karaoke every night and she'd sing. Okay, so you did see her in real life. Yeah, and then if she ghosts out of nowhere, then that really does hurt. And there could be a deep, almost obsessive need to like want to know what's going on. So again, can you release that? And can you know that, you get to have a healthy relationship where even if they didn't want to spend time with you anymore, you could get some type of clarity or healthy closure. But I'm sorry that happened. That does suck. Cope. This stream has been very therapeutic. Thank you for doing this. You're so welcome. Helping me a lot in getting over this as quickly as possible. You're so welcome, Cope. It's what I'm saying. Crazy how they can sing to you back up. Um, let's focus on the solution. Let's not focus on the toxic person. Let's focus on the solution. I have to remind you. And even like, remember that. Like, remember my voice in your head when you start obsessing about them, because your brain will do that. Be like, okay, let's focus on me. Let's focus on my healing. Let's focus on what it looks like to have a healthy relationship. Let's focus on what safety and love in a relationship looks like real love. Um, Constantine sound advice. I feel that might be Bob. I feel that might give you some closure. You can give yourself closure too, though. And I hate to like, I'm sure you've heard this advice before, but the ghosting was the closure, right? And I know like logically that doesn't make sense because there's a primitive part of your brain that's like ghost, like I need someone, them to tell me. But like the logic part of your brain is like ghosting was the closure. The fact that they act like that is the closure. You don't want anyone in your life that would treat you like that, which is ghost you for no reason. So really the closure is the ghosting, but we still have to grieve that we would want something more. And it's like that is what we get to release, the that feeling of abandonment that it created, and knowing that you're actually always loved and that the people that really care about you would never do that. And so it's about reinstating that in yourself, that you are always loved and supported by people that can do that for you. Not everyone can, because if a lot of times people like the avoidant attachment thing, things get too close, they can't handle it. They can't handle it. So where can you show up in your life and be like, or where can you change your beliefs to, I'm always supported, I'm actually available for real emotional connection and intimacy, not just attracting unavailable people, because unavailable people are the ones that ghost. I guess my next question is, understanding her issue is still care. She shared she's going to therapy. I know she's monkey branching one of the guy to another. Why let's I think it's time to like not have communication. Like this whole, like, why do you know that she's going to therapy? She's trying to keep her hooks in. So I would go non-contact. I know that's not what you wanna hear, but yes, it's not even ghosting at this point. It's like you guys are broken up. She's trying to keep her, because they also like that. They like knowing that they have some type of control over you. Do not answer her. I would block her. I would completely, like, energetically cut everything off. And she's the only reason she's even saying that she's going to therapy, if she is to start to put in your mind those obsessive thoughts like, "Oh, she'll change. We could have the relationship that I wanted to in my" No, no. Hi, Floyd. Do you think you can overdo going on a block fest, blocking people? Again, it's not this we're not amputating. We're detaching with love. So you set your boundaries and you see if those boundaries are respected. If it's not, then you could block them. But you're still detaching with love even if you're blocking. You're not like, "Fuck you, block, 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 block." No. You state your boundaries, what you're available for and what you're absolutely not, and then you move from there. I wasn't talking about standing in front of the mirror and giving yourself, positive verbal commands, although that does work for a lot of my clients. A lot of people that especially if you have, an abusive parent that told you you're ugly or you're a piece of shit, like, it's really hard. Some people that were traumatized in certain ways have a hard time looking at themselves in the mirror or pictures or anything. So with those type of people that have that type of trauma, mirror work is very helpful. But I didn't say anything about that, but I respectfully disagree with you because mirror work is can be helpful to some people. I have to change your beliefs. Yeah, time space entanglements, that's what everything is about, is changing your false beliefs about yourself. But there's all these different techniques that help you rewire the brain. So sometimes for people, affirmations really work. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes mirror works for people. But the thing is like not just having one technique. That's why I go if you look at my videos, everything is about a different technique. And some of it like different things work for different people and different things will work for different people at different times in their life or for different situations. So it's just like, if you went into Whole Foods and they only had like two type of fruits or and one vegetable, it's like, what the fuck? Like you want a variety of things. Like, and that's what I'm providing you guys here. But if mirror work doesn't work for you, fine, do something that works for you. But it's all meant to reprogram you on the deepest, most like conscious, subconscious, and even unconscious level. I admit I give toxic people from my past free yeah, yeah, yeah. So, Miss Priya, there's a little bit of addiction loop that I think you have that you get to release because you have to think about what you're getting out of relating to toxic people. Like, what you're getting something out of it. And but I think you're finally at a point where that payoff isn't working as much for you anymore. So you're at a place where it's kind of like, okay, I can let that go because I'd rather have this outcome and have my life be healthier in this way. Let's see. I see what you mean by ghosting is closure. Yeah. Or sometimes the breakup is closure. Like, and a narcissist, especially dismissive avoidants, do this a lot. They're just like up and leave, like in the middle of the night. I've heard my clients like I've heard that like they just left in the middle of the night. And I'm like, unfortunately, that is the closure. I know you want more, but they just maxed out their capacity for any type of intimacy. So, and that does suck. And that is something I want you guys to grieve when things happen like that and learn from it so it doesn't happen again. I just don't want that to be a pattern in your life. Why do women ghost? She disappointed. I mean, people ghost for a lot of reasons. It's actually really emotionally immature, and it's different than being like, "I've told you a million times, here's my boundary," and then they're not respecting it, so then you could block. But if they actually just really ghost, it's emotionally immature, and a lot of people don't have the capacity for intimacy or, like, having a real conversation in that way. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up since it's been over an hour and a half. You're welcome, Cope. So many good questions. Thank you. And so yeah, so many good questions. And do the neurological reprogramming tool for the week, which is cognitive reconstruction. And and if you missed it, just scroll to the beginning because that's a really good one, and it will really deeply rewire those beliefs like we were just talking about. Because yes, at the end of the day, your life is just about like it's a reflection of what you really believe. And don't get like because I have gotten, I mean, even me, I'm like, oh my God, that sucks. I really, yeah, there is some, but it's just an opportunity to clean that up, and it could happen like that. Things can change in a minute. Like again, like a miracle. What's the thing? A miracle can happen in a moment. Like it's really true. And thank you, Bob, so much for helping me moderate. Let's all thank Bob. And happy birthday, Bob. Thank you. So appreciate you. And I hope that this is your best year yet. Your personal new year is the best year yet for you, Bob. Long live stream tonight. Great topics. They were great topics. Got a little wild. Yeah, I know. Say la vie. You're welcome, Street Cat. Thank you. We appreciate you, Bob. You guys have an amazing week. I will see you on Wednesday for the live stream on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Okay. And thank you for everyone from around the world. That's so exciting. And then if you have any questions that you want me to cover on the next live stream, you can DM me on Instagram or TikTok, and then I'll remember to bring it up. Or you could ask here too, but like if you DM me, then I'll for sure like have it so it's definitely answered. All right, guys. Love you, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye.